Hi everyone, welcome back. Hopefully now you have a good structure for your pitch and you've nailed your content. In this video, we're going to talk about the slide deck and we're going to talk about how to respond to questions following your pitch. And the guys who are running the competition are probably going to hate this, but you get a feel with all of the tech and how you're going to work it. But what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't allow you to share your slide deck? So you've got to make sure that you can deliver your pitch without that slide deck. We've seen it recently where this happened and they couldn't share it. It took about 20 or 30 seconds to get to the realization that it wasn't going to work. And the person in question delivered the pitch anyway and really well. And he got more kudos from the panel of people watching because he wasn't flustered because he knew his content. So it's like, it's fine, it's not going to work. I can do it without it. It's not a problem. So, it probably will work, but if it doesn't, what would you do? So you've got to make sure that you could still deliver it without those prompts and without those slides.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't talked about slide decks up until this point because really it's the least important part. What you need is your good structure and the content to be nailed. And then your slide deck should just be a supplementary, a little bit of a support for what you're seeing. So, no more than 3 slides I would go with. Bullet points so that they literally are just a prompt for what you're saying, so that they're not distracting your audience. If you've got too much information on your slide, there'll be a little bit of confusion. Should I listen to the speaker? Should I read the slides? And you might lose some of your audience because they're not really sure what they should be doing, what's expected of them. So just make sure they're clear, concise, bullet points, a logo, a graph, or an image that's just going to support the words that you're saying.
Yeah, I think if you look at your time spent between now and when you got to deliver your pitch, spend at least 90% of that time on practicing it and the content, and a maximum of 10% on the presentation slides. From all the competitions that we've been at, and when we see results, we speak to judges, panels afterwards, nobody ever says they were brilliant because of the slide deck. They say they were brilliant because of the energy and the passion that they showed, or what a great idea, why has nobody done that, what a great project, that's amazing that they're looking into that kind of thing. Nobody ever mentions the slide deck. So we get fixated on it and it's really, really not that important.
Yeah, which is why we always leave it to the end, because it literally is a supplementary. And you know what? Delivering a virtual pitch actually gives you a bit of a benefit because you have your slide deck in front of you. So you've got those prompts there, so you can use them as a tool. When you're delivering the real world, generally your prompts are behind you. Your deck is behind you, so you don't get to see it. And 99.9% of the time in the competitions that we've done, people forget. They get the clicker in their hand and they're fixated on what they're seeing and they forget to turn the slides next to the next slide. So literally don't worry about it. Put it together if you feel like you want a slide, but again, don't feel pressured into using the slide deck. If you would just rather talk, then that's fine as well. So just get to the point where you're comfortable in doing it without your slide deck. Put that together as a bit of a prompt, with your logo on, if you've got a team logo that you want to use, or an image of the work that you're doing, or just some key points that you really want to emphasize, just use it for that purpose. One of the other plus points, of virtual pitching is that you can use notes and nobody needs to know. So you can have post-it notes, a little bit old school, I know that, and you can bring them up and you can do electronic post-it notes as well, however you want to do it. You can write down your prompts. I wouldn't recommend reading from a script because, one, it can sound a little bit robotic and be apparent that you're reading from a script. But two, more importantly, from your point of view, if you lose your way, if you miss a word, it can knock you off course and it can cause more harm than good, to be honest. So I would refrain from using a script. You're not going to say the same thing every time. So just get to a point where you're comfortable with the general structure and the general words you're going to use. And if you use different words, it doesn't matter and nobody needs to know. But you can use post-it notes, put them along the top of your screen, and then nobody will see that you're reading from them, and you'll be able to create the illusion that you're still keeping that eye contact with your audience, and you can just pick up your prompts from your post-it notes at the top of the screen.
Yeah, and so that goes in really well into the sort of the questions that you're going to get asked. So afterwards, remember, you've left the time and space for people to ask for more information. But don't be put off or feel offended if people ask you things that you've covered off in your presentation, because some people just can't retain everything that you've spoken about. So when you respond, and make sure that you're still passionate, upbeat, and positive. Answer the question, but also gives you the opportunity to add a bit more detail. So you can sort of twist the question, make sure you do answer what they're asking, but it might be about finance, or it might be about the project scope, or what you're looking to achieve. And you go, oh, actually, I forgot to mention that, or I forgot to mention that key person who's really good at doing that aspect of it. Get that in at that point, because once they finish speaking, you're in control until you finish again. So yeah, and just be positive and upbeat and passionate, the same as you are in your pitch when responding to the questions.
So as we've said right the way through this, you can't fit everything within your pitch. There's no such thing as a perfect pitch. The important things is to get across the purpose of the work that you're doing, why you're doing it, the passion that you have, and the excitement that you have around the work that you're doing. Clear, succinct, remove the jargon and the technical language, make it as clear as you can for people to understand. And that would be the same for a physical or a virtual pitch. It's the same content. Nothing would change there. When it comes to questions, if you don't know the answer to something, that's absolutely fine. That's not a negative. It's actually see that as a positive. That can help you for the next time around. Somebody will ask you and you'll know the answer, because what you'll do is you'll go in, you'll find out. If somebody asks you the question you don't know, take their details, go away, find out, and let them know. Go back to them on email or pick the phone up to them. They've asked you because they're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And because if you do try and answer it and you don't know the answer, you lose credibility.
Yeah.
Everything else that you've said previously, people start to doubt that as well. So yeah, so just take Jill's advice on board there. I think the final thing for me, you're all amazing. You're doing fantastic projects. You will go onto whatever platform and you will speak, words will come out, and you'll do a great job at it. Don't put yourself under pressure. Try and think of it a bit more informal, like you're telling a story about the work that you've done. And remember, they're really interested in hearing what you've done so far.
Absolutely. You're all rock stars. You're all doing incredible work. And yeah, everybody wants you to do well. So just, it's easy for us to say, but just take your time, just relax, enjoy it. You know, things come with practice. Start with your 30-second pitch, move on, create your structure and the 3 things that you want to be remembered by. Think about your problem, solution, and impact, and it will just happen. It will be absolutely fine. There's nothing to worry about. The work that you're doing is incredible. This is just telling the story about the work that you do.